Cinderella. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, in a beautiful house, there was a girl with blonde hair and blue eyes named Ella. Ella lived happily with her parents. Loved her mother very much. They had a lot of fun together.
This garden is so beautiful. It is, especially with you here. I love our walks.
They have a good time together.
One day, his mother fell ill. I love you, Mom.
Ella is very sad.
Daddy whispers she's at rest. Cinderella's tears fell one by one as he hugged her to his chest. Cinderella,
There she sat, beside his dear mother's side. Her tears fell endlessly, like rivers deep and wide. And then, like a candle, softly stolen by the wind, her mother closed her eyes for the last time.
Ella was alone now, and her heart was very heavy. Always thought about the beautiful days she spent with her mother. And she missed her mother very, very much.
Cinderella, when you're smiling or you cry, love is like a shining ribbon tied around you all the time.
After her mother was gone, Ella's father married again. His new wife was a cold woman, and she had two daughters, Drusilla and Anastasia. One sad day, a letter arrived from a faraway land. Her merchant father had taken his last breath, and from that day on, nothing in the house was the same. Cinderella lived in a small old room at the top of the house. It was cold, it was dark, and it was all she had. No one ever bought her new clothes. So she took her stepsister's old, worn dresses. Her stepmother and stepsisters gave her all the hard work in the house. She cleaned, she cooked, she swept the floors every day.
She worked among the ashes, her chores would never end, yet her beautiful dreams remained.
Her dress was old, her hands were tired, her face was covered in ash. And so, they gave her a new name.
Your new name is Cinderella.
They called her Cinderella.
You'll ride the carriage of happiness tonight.
Days passed, and then more days.
This simply won't do. Do it again.
And make it perfect this time, you little cindersoot.
Her stepsisters were never kind. They never smiled at her. They never said a gentle word. In the evenings, Cinderella sat alone by the fire. She watched the flames grow smaller and smaller. She thought about her life. She thought about her sadness. And the fire, just like her heart, quietly faded away. That is why they called her Cinderella, the girl who lived among the cinders. One day, the king had an idea. He wanted to find a wife for his son, the handsome young prince. So, the king decided to hold a grand ball at the palace. And so, the king sent his messengers to every corner of the kingdom.
I will deliver this royal invitations for the village maidens.
Every young woman in the kingdom was invited.
Let's celebrate!
Every single one.
It's an invitation to the royal... I can't...
It was going to be a magical night, full of music, lights, and dancing. The stepmother and stepsisters heard the news. They were very, very excited. Cinderella heard the news too, her heart filled with hope. Maybe she could go to the ball as well. But when she asked, they laughed at her. They wouldn't let her go to the ball. The stepmother fixed her daughter's hair and chose their jewelry. She wanted the prince to fall in love with one of her daughters. The night of the ball finally came. The stepsisters put on their beautiful new dresses and left for the palace. Cinderella stayed at home, and the house became very quiet. Then, suddenly, a warm and gentle voice filled the room.
I am your fairy godmother. I will help you.
There she was, a beautiful woman with silver hair and kind, sparkling eyes. The fairy godmother, glowing with magic and kindness.
Oh, my dear, dry those tears. You are so much more than you believe. Let me show you the magic Alcanzar. Now, watch closely, my dear. The magic is just beginning.
Cinderella's eyes went wide with joy and surprise. You shall go to the ball, the fairy smiled. But bring me a pumpkin quickly. Cinderella ran and returned with the biggest one. The fairy touched it with her glowing wand.
Fairy Godmother came to end the sadness shown. The pumpkin became a carriage, the mice became the sea. Old clothes turned to diamonds.
And in a burst of golden light, the pumpkin became a magnificent golden carriage. The fairy waved her wand again. 3 mice became 3 white horses. 2 lizards became the carriage drivers. Then the fairy turned to her, one last wave of the wand. And the old, torn dress became the most beautiful gown she had ever seen. On her feet were 2 sparkling glass shoes. But remember, the fairy whispered, be home before midnight. When the clock strikes 12, the magic ends. And then she arrived at the ball. The music faded. The dancers stood still. Even the candles burned brighter. No one knew her name, but everyone knew one thing. She was the most beautiful girl they had ever seen. The stepmother and stepsisters stared too. They were speechless. She was extraordinary, but not one of them recognized her. The girl they had left behind in the kitchen was standing right in front of them. The prince saw Cinderella, and his heart stopped. He walked straight to her.
May I have this dance?
And so they danced and danced and danced. All night long, their eyes never left each other. Like 2 stars that had finally found each other in the same sky.
You'll ride the carriage of happiness tonight.
What is your name?
He whispered. But Cinderella only smiled, mysterious and magical. The clock started 1, 2, 3. She remembered the fairy's words. At 12, the magic stops.
I must go now.
Please stay!
Prince said. But Cinderella was already running down the stairs, and one small glass shoe fell from her foot. It stayed on the stairs. The prince held one small glass shoe in his hands. He watched the golden carriage go away into the dark night. The girl he loved was gone. As Cinderella sped away in her carriage, suddenly, and just like that, the magic stopped. Pumpkin, mice, old gray dress, Cinderella looked down. One glass shoe still on her foot, the other lost on the palace stairs. She held it close to remember him. The prince looked at the small glass shoe in his hands. He was very sad. He did not know her name. He did not know her house. Nothing. The shoe was the only thing he had. He looked at the shoe for a long time, then smiled. Every girl must try it. The one whose foot fits, she is the one. The king approved the prince's request. The The prince sent his men to every town, every street. The message was simple. Every girl must try the glass shoe. The prince is coming. And so, the search began.
Morning shining bright and clear, chasing away gloom. Twirl, twirl, Cinderella, teardrops dry at last. One glass slipper finds her foot. Dreams come true so fast.
Cinderella ran home fast, just in time. She hid the glass shoe in her old wooden box. Then she waited. The door opened. They were home.
How was the ball?
The princess was so beautiful, the stepsisters said. Her dress, her hair. We never saw anyone like her. Cinderella smiled and said nothing. That night, she could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, the music, the lights, the prince, and they danced all night long. The news spread fast across the land. The prince is coming. Every girl must try the glass shoe. Every young girl was very excited. Please fit my foot. Please fit my foot, they all wished. The royal messengers rode from house to house, street by street, village by village. But the shoe did not fit. Not one girl, not one foot. Then they came to Cinderella's house. The soldiers knocked on the door.
Bring us every young girl in this house. The prince's orders. Every girl must try the shoe.
Before the soldiers came, the stepmother had a plan. She took Cinderella to a small dark room and locked the door. The soldiers knocked and came in.
My daughters are perfect for this.
Let us see.
It's too big.
And for the other.
It's a bit tight. Push harder, Drizella. It's not going to fit.
I'm sorry, it does ridiculous.
The shoe did not fit them. The soldiers started to leave. Then they heard a small voice from upstairs. They went up, opened a locked door, and found Cinderella. A soldier kneels and puts the glass shoe on Cinderella's foot. It fits perfectly. The prince watches them. He sees the shoe fits, and he feels very happy and excited. He says,
I found you, my princess.
Cinderella looked at the prince. She reached into her old wooden box. She took out the other glass shoe, and she put it on her foot. A perfect fit. Both shoes, both feet, sparkling and glowing. The prince stared, then slowly bowed, deep and respectful. Behind them, the stepmother and stepsisters stood frozen. They could not move. They could not speak. Their mouths were open. Their eyes were wide. The prince looked at Cinderella. His eyes were warm. His voice was soft. I found you at last, he said.
Will you be my princess? Will you marry me and come live in my palace? Cinderella, will you marry me?
Cinderella smiled.
Yes, I will.
Together, they walked out the home into the sunshine. The golden carriage was waiting, and there, standing beside it, was the fairy godmother.
Be happy, my dear.
Then the prince helped her into the carriage. Side by side, they rode toward the palace. The fairy godmother watched them go, and with one last smile, she raised her wand and disappeared into 1,000 golden stars.
Twirl, twirl, Cinderella, spin around the room. Morning shining bright and clear.
From that day
chasing
on,
away gloom. Twirl, twirl,
they lived happily
Cinderella,
ever
teardrops dry
after.
at last. One glass slipper finds her foot. Dreams come true so fast.